Let's see if it works. Okay, all right, it works. Okay, so um, yeah, this is very interesting. Uh, I don't know what just happened, but um, I'm live. Great. I'm live. I'm live. This is great. I'm live. This is awesome. I guess I couldn't go live 30 minutes ago because of the algorithm or something. I don't know. It was weird. Something just happened, and I was like, "Why can't I go live? I don't understand." So I had to title the. I had to title the title something different, and I was like, "Well, maybe I got to title something different." So um, I want to talk about funding in this country. And let me take my glasses off. It just doesn't do well. I don't have anti-reflective. These are free glasses, and I couldn't get anti-glare. So now when I take pictures, well, I always take my glasses off during pictures, but before, when I could afford it, like $100, $50, anti-glare. These have no anti-glare, so I put them on, and there's glare, and you can't see my eyes. So I always have to take them off with pictures and stuff like that. That's a lot of glare, huh? Wow. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Maybe I could do that a little bit. Really tight space here, so you're seeing a little bit of stuff on the counter over there. Um, so yeah, I had to be careful with how I titled this. And I want to talk about like funding, like grant funding or government funding. Okay, and I just really want to give you a little bit of like personal experience, and I should be like taking better notes of like people like asking me questions because some of the questions that I'm being asked by people, it's like these questions are like, uh, how do I word it? I guess they're assuming that the way it is now is the way it was in like 1993 or like 1995. Or I can't tell you what it was like before 1993 because I graduated in 1990. I graduated high school in 1993, so I can't really tell you what it was like in like 1990. I mean, I was a freshman in high school in 1989. So yeah, so I should have like taken notes on what people have asked me. But um, the most recent question was something like um, DPSS, Department of Public Social Services. Um, and That's a government agency. It's like WIC. Like you get, like if you're a single mom and you get, I guess they pay for like diapers, and you get certain help if you're a single mom. Now, I don't know. I'm not a single mom, so I don't know like the criteria to get help. But I believe your children have to be living with you more than 50%. I cannot say for sure if they have to be living with you for like 100%, or if they have to be living with you like 75% of the time. But I believe if your children are living with you like 30 or 20% of the time or 40% of the time, I do not know if you're going to get the help that you need if there is a co-parent where it is split like 2 or 3 days a week. It's they're with the other parent, regardless if it's another mom or another dad. It doesn't really matter. I can't really speak to that. I can only really speak to me. So somebody asked me, and I'm gonna have to paraphrase this, but it was something like, doesn't DPSS have a program for you to be able to get um, gas funds or something like that? Or Department of Public Social Services give you money for I don't know, um, I don't know what it was. It was a very interesting question, and it was just maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I really should I really should take notes on this stuff, that what people ask me, because I could probably write a book on these things that people ask me, and it's just interesting what people think, because the questions are like designed for like 20 30 years ago. um, it's just strange. So yeah. Let's see, I'm trying to think of any other questions that I've been asked. No, no, I can't really remember any other questions. Now, there's been a lot of, um, I guess you could say, like, what is it called? Like, people trying to help. Um, they don't really know about funding. They don't really know about government programs. A lot of people assume. I'm not saying they're bad people. They just don't know. They just don't know. They think it's the way it was in like 1985 or 1990. So they don't know until they're in that shoes. They don't know until they're in that predicament, and they're basically scrambling around thinking, oh my God. Now, it's different for everybody, right? Because you could have somebody that was making, there's articles, and you can go on YouTube and other places, and you could hear these stories about people that were making $150,000 a year, and they go down to $75,000 a year, and it hurts them really bad. Maybe they have a mortgage that's like $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and people get behind in their mortgage for like 12 months. Because when you have a mortgage of like $3,000 or $4,000 a month, yeah, you're especially in California, you're probably going to have to make 100,000 or 115 or $120,000 a year to pay for your mortgage. You know, um, it wasn't too long ago. Let's see, I got my MBA in 2011. It was not a good year to graduate with an MBA because the job market was down. I got my bachelor's degree in 2009. We all know what happened. Was it 2007 or 2008 with the housing market? And there was like no jobs, no homes, and the housing market just popped and everything. And it was not a good time to graduate from college in 2008 or 2011. And the job market kind of started to come back in like 2014. Well, guess what? Yeah, I started getting like slowly, like I was tutoring like in 2012, and I really didn't enjoy it. And it was children. I really didn't enjoy it all that much. But things really started to turn around like 2014. 2013, I had a hip replacement. So in 2013, in August, I really couldn't work. I really couldn't work for like 3 months. I had to like baby my hip. I was 38 years old with that hip replacement because of my hip dislocating in 1988 when I was 13. So, um, so by December of like 2013, I was like playing racquetball. I was 6 months. I was a new woman. Um, so, things really changed around in 2014, and then really upward momentum in 2016. Um, so, um, how do I, yeah, I'm just going to have to be honest with you guys and tell you, like what it's like. So funding, okay, there's grants, there's like, government funding. And I can't really tell you like, like, budget cuts. Like I can't tell you, I don't know. Like there could be like there's DPSS, food stamps, EBT, electronic benefits transfer, CalFresh in California, and then there's like Medicaid, Medi-Cal. Um, we know those big level things because we hear it in the media, right? But there's other agencies, like there's Department of Rehabilitation. I don't know if there's going through cuts. I have no idea. I don't know. I would probably have to like research that. And then there's like what's it called? Community Action Partnership. They get funding. I don't know if they're going through cuts. I know that Community Action Partnership hasn't helped me. I don't have utilities. I'm not a single mom. So a lot of these organizations, the typical funding thing, you need to file into some typical, like a vet, because basically what is going on is a lot of pointing, a lot of finger pointing, and like what's the place called in San Bernardino or Riverside? Oh God, the Inland Regional Center. So like people with disabilities, like an intellectual disability, okay, they rely on funding, just like the Department of Rehabilitation. And I don't know if the Inland Regional Center, I want to say it's a nonprofit, but those nonprofits are funded by federal governments, state governments, and the funding can be shut down. That's what I found out a year ago because I was calling so many different places, like August last year, and then I was calling so many places like I don't know, like September. I got hired in when was it, in October? Like it was like the 2nd or the 3rd, and it was a political job going to certain homes for a certain congressman, and based upon who they voted for in the last election, those people were on the list. Like I had to talk to those specific people behind those specific doors based upon who they voted for in the last election. And that was just last year. So the last election before that was 2020. So that job was 1 month in October, and it allowed me to pay my rent in November. And you know, I was walking like 5-6 hours a day, had blisters all over my feet. And I don't usually walk 5 or 6 hours a day. I usually don't do that. And my legs locked up. I remember one day my legs locked up. It was like around like Halloween or something. And the job was over by like November 4th, whatever election day was. The job was over. There was no reason to go and ask questions and leave like flyers and door hangers on the doors for this particular congressman on the day of the election. There was no reason to do that. But I remember I was walking so much that my legs locked up and I couldn't like walk. And I just had to stand for 20 minutes. I was like, uh-oh, my legs are, I'm like, I can't move. I couldn't move. And I just had to stand for, or I guess I could have sat on the sidewalk or something, I guess. But I didn't. I just stood and I was just like, okay. And after about 20 minutes, I walked back to my car and I sat. But, you know, I took it because I had to pay my rent. I had to pay my rent. And, you know, I was calling all these different places like Community Action Partnership. I was calling, there's like a Jewish companies, like Jewish nonprofits. Oh, I can't remember. There was one and it's right on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember the name of it. Catholic Charities is another one. Yeah, I can't remember. There's this one, and I remember they helped me with gas cards, but it was only 2 months. It was like $20 or $25 gas card, and I really needed help with my car insurance. I mean, I really needed help, but I had to lower my car insurance rate, or um, yeah, I had to lower the monthly, but in order to do that, I had to increase my deductible from whatever it was, 750 or 500, and now my deductible is 1,000, just to get my monthly full coverage. And I need full coverage on that car to protect me if I'm ever hit. That car can be replaced by another car. If I get liability only, it's not going to protect me, and I'm going to be out of vehicle. And I need that vehicle. If you're in Southern California, you need a vehicle. You need one. I remember last year my car went into limp mode, and I had money last year, so it went into limp mode like 3 times. Don't get a Hyundai, guys. I'm telling you, do not get a Hyundai. Get a Honda or Toyota. Do not get a Hyundai. They're not reliable, especially the Tucson 1.6 Limited. They have transmission problems. I spent like $800 on the turbo, the solenoid turbo, and then I spent like $600 on the fuel rail pressure sensor, and it's in limp mode again. I can't drive my car. I need to get it to the whatever, the mechanic, and somebody needs to help me with the funds. So that happened before, and I really needed help with insurance costs to keep the car running, to keep me legal on, and I couldn't get help. I was told from DPSS I had to have $0 in my bank account to get $325 a month on general assistance, because if you're living in a home, they're going to assume that you have money to pay your rent next month. And I guess maybe if you're already on the street, maybe it's different. I don't know. If you're living on the street, do you have to have $0 in your bank account? I don't know. But if you have $50 or $100 or $200 in your bank account, and you did not earn it this month, and it was left over from last month, and you need to keep that money in your bank account, Riverside County is going to consider that as income, even though it's not. So if you panhandle, you're going to be penalized. If you get like a GoFundMe and you say, hey, I need help with my car insurance, you're going to be penalized. They're going to say, yeah, I got $50. It was a gift. You're going to be penalized. That's what happens. And the system makes it very difficult for you to get money. And if you are applying, like I'm applying to 50 jobs a week, it is taking me 1 to 2 hours to tailor my resume to each position, because now I use Claude. And I said, here's a resume. I want you to ask me enough questions so you can understand not just what I did, but the achievements that I made, because employers don't care what you did. Oh, I bagged groceries. Oh, I answered phone calls, and I was a receptionist. Nobody cares about that. They want to know what achievements you made. How much money did you save? ROI. Did you create a new program? Did you suggest something and somebody new was hired? Did you suggest a way to save money? Did you reduce overhead? Did you start a new project? Did you create something new and you created, or you suggested management something? That's what employers really want to know. They don't care that you packed boxes. Who cares? You can be replaceable. The employers don't care about that. I mean, unless you're just a cashier, but like a security guard. Okay, you were a security guard, but let's say somebody came in and I don't know, they were drunk and I don't know, they were causing discord, and you were able to get them out of there and you diffused the system, the man or the person coming in, you diffused it and you got them out of there, and everybody was safe, and you saw a bottleneck or some kind of problem in the company, and you're like, this could happen again because of this, and this. It's really easy for them to do this because of this, and this. And you see some type of issue, and you're a security guard, and you're like, you could really fix this. And they implement it because you're suggesting. That's what they want to know. Not, I was a security guard and I just sat there and I watched people and I made people safe. You got to go above and beyond that stuff on the resume. So I was asking Claude, you're going to ask me enough questions for each role that I did. It's not just so I can put my duties down, but you can pull out my accomplishments. And it takes me about an hour and a half. If there's a UCR, I applied to a UCR today for a role, and it said cover letter. It's like, okay, I'll create a cover letter. I wrote one. I wrote it out myself, and it said, this is my cover letter. I put it in Claude, and I said, can you make this more professional, please? You have to look at syntax. You really have to look at syntax to see that it doesn't sound like AI, because AI might get the syntax wrong. But if you understand that, you're going to be able to fix it. And then you can save it to your laptop or your computer, and then you can upload it. And I'm wondering now if employers want more PDF and less Microsoft Word files. I wonder if it's easier for them to like retrieve and read PDFs. I don't know. It might be something I need to research. So, man, I need water. I need water here. Yeah. Good. I got water here. Dry. So, funding. So I called a place. I was calling so many different places. I don't know how I found out about this place. I must have went on Google, and I want to say it was called his daughter's house or something like that. It was about a year ago, maybe November of last year, and they said, yeah, we could help you, but there's only one problem. And I said, uh-oh. They said, what's the problem? I don't qualify because I'm not a single mom, or I'm not like a victim of domestic violence, or I'm not a veteran, or I'm not disabled. And like the three big ones is diabetes, breast cancer, blind, and maybe even deaf. There's a lot of funding if you have breast cancer or cancer, diabetes, because you need your medicine in a fridge. And if you're homeless, how are you going to keep your medicine in the fridge if you have diabetes? See the problem? So breast cancer or cancer, diabetes, blind, and maybe deaf. Now, a lot of times what happens is you might call United Way, Southern California 211, and there's 211. It's owned by United Way across the nation. Now, in Riverside County, it's San Bernardino County too. It's all one. San Bernardino County, Riverside County, it's all one. It's a resource center. It doesn't mean they're going to have resources for you. And a lot of places, not just individual people, but a lot of government agencies are tell them to call 211. But these people that say, have you thought about calling 211? They haven't called themselves when they don't know what it's like. So they're not going to know what it's like until it's them. They're not going to know what the system is like until they are in the situation themselves and they find out, oh my God, this is what's going on. Like, I had no idea. So that's a lot of glare. Ooh, I don't like that. How do I... There's a lot of glare. I don't know how to get rid of it. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can get rid of the glare by... Does that work? A little bit. A little bit. Not. See, I need better lighting, but... Okay, maybe that's better. Trying to get rid of that glare on my head, and I just don't know how to do it. So funding, everything is funding. Everything is funding. And I ran into a lot of oopsies last year in 2024. Yeah, I'm going to have to look up some of the 211 is a big one, guys. 211 is a big one because everybody will say, have you thought about calling 211? And I'm just like, Ooh, I'm at the edge of my seat telling people do not. I tell DPSS, don't tell people to call 211 because it's a sham. It's a sham. There's no funding. Now, if you want a food bank in Riverside County, they will give you food banks. That's all there is. If you're on a special diet, you're probably not going to get help because it's designed not to keep you healthy. It's designed to keep your heart beating, basically. So you need bread, milk. If you can't have bread because there's gluten in it, you have celiac disease, you're probably not going to get the help you need. But because you have celiac disease, you could probably call some place that helps people with celiac disease so maybe you can get help. That's why you need to have something wrong with you. So like veterans, that is a classic like silo that you can fall into so that 211 can point their finger and say, go to the VA. And then you go to the VA and you find out there's limited resources in the VA and they might not be able to help you for what you actually need. There might be resources in the VA, but they don't really address what you specifically need. So that's basically what's going on, is a lot of finger pointing. And it's not just individual people, it's people in government roles, because they are told from the management, tell people to call Inland County, Southern California 211. And it's United Way across the nation. And you're going to find out. You're going to find out that you have to be in a specific silo. And I can rattle off a lot of them because I couldn't believe in August of last year, I was asked all these questions. They were like, okay, we can help you if you want like housing resources. And the thing is when you do this, they think you want them to find you a place, and then you go to a place and then like they tell you where to move. Well, guess what? I move where I say I'm going to move. I'm not moving to Jurupa Valley or Riverside or San Bernardino. That's the ghetto. I'm not moving to Jurupa Valley or Riverside. I'm not. I grew up in Riverside. It's the ghetto. So it's really kind of pushes you back in a corner, basically. And I don't know. My values are changing very quickly. Everything is changing very quickly, and I don't know. It's kind of strange because the questions that I was asked a year ago, guys, this was not 2025. I was asked these questions in August or September of 2024 when Biden was president. Okay, Biden was president, and I'm sure a lot of these things like were implemented back in like the 1990s, or maybe the early 2010s or 2011s. But like the questions were: are you a victim of domestic violence? Are you blind? Do you have breast cancer? Do you have diabetes? Are you a convict, or not a convict, but like an ex-con? Or like are you on parole? Are you on probation? Are you running from asylum from another country to hide here to be safe? Are you Hispanic? Are you a single mom? Do you have an HIV positive? And actually, that HIV positive didn't come up. I found that on my own through, I don't know how I found it. I really don't know how I found it, because there are hidden like grants and hidden like funding, but they're not easy to find at all. They're not. You really have to spend a lot of time like researching places in this, whatever this place in Riverside is. I don't remember what it was, but like if you're like a member of the gay community, like if you're a lesbian or if you're a gay man or a transgender, I can't remember the name of the place, guys. I don't remember. But I remember going to like a job fair and um, applying to like 15 positions at a store. There was probably 300 or 400 people there lining up for an interview. It was kind of mad and a little a little hairy, and I don't think they realized how many people were there looking for work at this store. And it was at the Workforce Development Center, which I'm going to have to go into in a minute. But I don't think they realized how many people were going to show up. They didn't have a lot of people like doing interviews. They were short staffed. And I applied to 15 different jobs. And I was told to show up at 10 a.m. I was there all day. I didn't get an interview until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I didn't get called or anything like that. But because my work background doesn't really match retail, right? So I remember that day I was started to make phone calls, and this guy called me back because I had called this nonprofit several days, and I was like really riled up this particular day with this job fair and this company that was doing all these interviews. And it was like 2 3 was after my interview and everything, like that was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And he said, I'm trying to help you. And he said, let me ask you, do you have HIV positive? And I said, why? He goes, well, that's where our funding goes. And I said, of course I no, I don't have HIV positive. He said, well, I didn't know. And I'm like, no, but how in the world would I be that? I mean, I guess I would have to use needles and stuff like that. I don't do that. And he said, well, we do have funding, but you have to have HIV positive. So I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, that's the kind of thing, like a drug addict. Like if you're a drug addict, you're basically like 211 or any other place is going to say, oh, you're a drug addict. Go there to the drug addict place. Go there, and they'll help you. It doesn't mean they're going to help you with your specific need. Now, I will tell you, like if you're like, what's it called? I believe I have agency over my life and choice. And with the 12 step, you got to believe in a sky daddy, even a group of drunks. And I just don't agree with the 12 steps. I just don't. I'm not saying those people aren't having a hard time, but come on, a sponsor is a friend. That's all it is. A sponsor is a friend that is there with you and says, "Hey, buddy, let's not go out to drink. Let's play golf." A sponsor is a friend, and on the other side of that AA or NA is the codependent. They're an enabler. Somebody's watching. I don't know who it is, but no, I have never seen a sponsor in any CODA meetings, Codependence Anonymous, because they're like, no, I don't want to help you. No, I'm codependent. I don't want to help you. Oh, codependents need friends too. So a sponsor is a friend. That's what it is. And friends that are addicts or NA or AA or Overeaters Anonymous or whatever. I've never been to Overeaters Anonymous, but it's all a 12 step. It's all, you got to believe in a sky daddy or something. And like, I'm an addict. I'm always an addict. If you haven't had drugs in 30 years, you're not an addict anymore. You're not an addict anymore. If you haven't had a drop of alcohol in 30 years or 20 years, you're not an addict anymore. I hate to tell you this, but you're not. You could say you are, but you're not. And I think a lot of the thing is a fear. Like if you say, oh, I'm not an addict anymore, I'm not an addict, you might like be afraid that you would be tempted to. Well, don't you believe in yourself? Do you not have enough faith to believe in yourself that if you say, oh, I'm not an addict anymore, that's a thing of the past. I don't need to have alcohol. I'm not an addict anymore. I'm good. I have my coping skills. And yeah, I think there's a lot of fear in there that's like, ooh, I better say I'm an addict, because if I say I'm not, I might fall back on that. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't give themselves enough credit. But, I have my own things and I have my own stuff. And, I I battle my own things too. It's just not addiction. It's other stuff, and I like trauma informed care and mental illness. It's a social construct. just like health is a social construct of the country that you're living in. I guarantee you, go to Finland, go to Switzerland, go to all those Norwegian, go to all those up there, and they're going to look at mental illness differently. They are. So if you have a mental illness and they check a box and they go, oh yeah, you're bipolar because of the symptoms. There's no blood test, guys, to prove a mental illness. It's a theory that there is less dopamine or less or too much serotonin. It's a theory. I don't believe it. Show me the evidence of a mental illness, but mental illness and addiction is one of those things that United Way, Southern California, Inland SoCal 211 United Way is going to ask you. And they asked me like all these questions. It was like 15. And single mom is a big one. And mental illness, addiction is a big one. They don't ask you, are you unemployed? They don't ask you, are you a lesbian? Are you gay? They don't ask you, how much money do you have in your bank account and can you pay your rent? Or they don't ask you, can you pay your car insurance next month? There is no program for you just being unemployed and you just can't find work. You have to have something wrong with you so they can point veterans, go there. Doesn't mean you're going to get help. It just means they're going to point a finger and say, go there. We don't know how to help you, but you can go there and they can help you. And it doesn't mean the VA is going to be able to help you. Just like Home Connect. I wish they would get rid of the Home Connect because it's deceiving. It's RUHS, Behavioral Health, Hope Housing. That's what it is. It's Hope Housing. Call it what it is. They don't want to call it what it is. They should call Hope Housing or call RUHS Behavioral Health. They don't want to do that. It's deceiving. It really is deceiving. And it's sad. But a lot of these things are like shells. They're shells. And I really wish I knew the name of that place that gave me a gas card. I don't remember. It was in Temecula, and they gave me a gas card for 2 months. It was like January and February. It was like $25 a month. I usually put in $60 to $80 a week. If I'm like driving to Temecula because it's 25 miles south. If I'm driving 25 miles south and 25 miles north to get back home, it's 50 miles a day. And old people like 80, 90, like not 90, but 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds, they're like, oh God. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I used to drive from Paris to Pomona. It took me 2 hours. It was like a 45-mile drive, and I did it back in, I don't know when it was, 2014. I wouldn't do it now. not for, what were they paying me? $11, $12, $13 an hour or something like that. I don't know. It was crazy. I don't know what that was. It was some type of pop-up. But you're not going to know what it's like. So, like, government employees don't know because they don't call. They don't call places. So, you're just not going to know unless you're in that situation. You just gotta be really diligent and just be aware of the people telling you where to go and who to call. And it's kind of strange because I've been asking myself, where's your faith? And if you go back to my older videos from like 2008, 2009, 2013, you go back to my older videos. I have a video that's, I think, saved on my profile. from like 2021, 2022. I lost a lot of weight in 2019, 2018. I lost a boku, like 80 pounds. Um, and I've gained like more than half back. Like I lost 80 and I gained over 40 back. Um, but I'm talking about before 2021, before 2022. I mean, I looked really thin in that video from 2021 and 2022. Um, so I'm going back to like 2013. Look at those videos that I did on religion and on Christianity and where I was in my faith, questioning atheist and questioning atheism and questioning my Christianity because I was pulling out of Christianity, right? I was pulling out of it and I declared myself an atheist, right? Okay, here I am, like, I've been putting my faith in the government. Why? Why in the world would I put my faith in the government? Why would I do that? That's just, I don't know. My mom died in 2018, so I'm like asking myself, did you have faith in your mom? And now that your mom's dead, you don't have faith in anything anymore? Like, I don't know. So I might have to go back and watch my own videos to see what I was saying. I mean, I know what I was saying, but maybe I need to like stick some sense into me. Because I was like going down the atheist road and then I switched to agnostic. And what I'm noticing now is like, it seems like to me, and everything is perception, right? Everything is perception. And it just seems like to me, there's a lot of people around me that are like, oh, yay, let's go to dance. Oh, yay, let's do a goddess thing. And all they want to do is like a new moon event, a full moon event. All they want to do is feel good, but they don't want to do good. They just want to feel good. Let's go to a goddess event. Let's go to a painting event. Let's have fun. And it's like, when do you live in the real world and do all this? And for me to do all this, like, I'm going to go to a goddess ritual or do one here myself and hold light for myself. Like, if I'm doing all that stuff, it begins to feel like spiritual bypassing, where I'm just doing something spiritual just to not feel the sadness or not feel the anger or not feel the whatever that I'm feeling at the time. And so it's like, okay, I'm just going to hold space and I'm just going to sit here and cry, or I'm going to feel the anger, or I'm going to feel the disappointment, or I'm going to feel the sadness over this friendship that dissolved away, So it's kind of a weird, thing to be in right now because, I went from Christian, born again Christian, to I don't know, to atheist, to agnostic, to I don't know, like just various astrology, like Hellenistic astrology, Time Lords, and then like astro theology with Santos Bonacci. I started like February or March. Well, no, it was probably July or August of 2024. I was really into him last year, and then Bill Donahue and all that last year, and I got fascinated with the whole mystic. Reading the Bible as a mystic. You can't take it literally, guys. You can't take it literally. Please don't take it literally, okay? Um, and then all this esoteric stuff, the 6 rays and everything. And now I'm like at a point, like, how far are you going to take this? I'm looking at my past from 2013. That was the year I declared myself an atheist. And then I didn't want anything to do with that because I noticed that I was an angry atheist. And I was like, no, I don't want to be an angry atheist. I can say agnostic or, whatever. And I even joined an atheist group. It was a meetup back 2019, 2018. Guess what we were doing? Meditation. It was so cool. It was like, I don't know if it was like Buddhism. I don't know what it was, but it was really cool. I was like, ooh. And then they started charging like fees to be in a meetup, and then COVID happened, and we stopped meeting. It was really cool. It was really super cool to be in that group of atheists in 2019 because we were all like meditating, and I think they talked about Buddhism and back in I don't know, 2011, 2012, 2013. I was reading up on Buddhism. I really enjoyed Alan Watts in those days. So being in this, like the unemployment cliff ending in September, there's no like extensions. It's not COVID time, guys. There's no extensions. And a lot of people that have families, they have to rely on their family for funding, for help, because you're going to find out if you call 211 or if you call this they might not help your specific need. Um, and it's great if you have family, and some people do have family, but they're like, I don't have money to help you. Let's see. I'm going to make sure I have enough time on my. Okay, I think it's 40%. That's good. It drains fast. Um, so I'm just looking at my faith, like, what the hell happened to you, girl? Do you need to go back to your videos in 2013 or 2011 or 2014 and like kick some sense into you? Because the atheist group, what I was in, they believed in themselves. They believed in themselves. They had faith in themselves. They didn't believe in a sky daddy or anything like that. And that was a really cool group to be in. Um, really cool group to be in, to see them meditating and talking about Buddhism. I got out of it, by, let's see, well, my mom died, so I was taking care of her, and it was all Alzheimer's, it wasn't wiping butts, and Hoyer lift. I didn't have a Hoyer lift. It was confusing because she didn't get the diagnosis in 2 weeks before her death. So it was like gaslighting, a lot of doctors gaslighting me, a lot of just a lot of people, doctors, like medical professionals gaslighting me, IHSS gaslighting me, stuff like that. In 2017, 2016, they thought I was like abusing my mom and not feeding her, stuff like that. And once she got the diagnosis, there was like a IHSS, like a review or an investigation on me. And I was told from someone, they were like, no, she was like, don't worry, they're going to do your investigation. They're going to do it. Let them do the investigation. Your mom got a diagnosis 2 weeks before she died. They're going to find out that you're saying, like, I kept on telling IHSS, she has dementia. It's not diagnosed. She has dementia. She has Alzheimer's, not diagnosed yet. And she needs more hours. She needs more than 6, 7, 8 hours a week. She needs like 40 hours a week. She needs like 80 hours a week of someone. She needs, I wasn't even saying like she needs hospice because I wasn't thinking of the word hospice, but that's really important when you have a family member that's like can't take care of themselves. You need to use the word hospice. And I didn't even know of that word hospice until it was too late, until like a month or 2 or 3 months before she died. The word hospice didn't even come, like hospice eval. That word is so important. So this person said, "Don't worry, let IHSS and Public Authority like do a thing on you, an investigation." And she's like, "They're gonna find out through their investigation of her doctor and all this stuff. Yeah, they're gonna find out that she really did have Alzheimer's and it wasn't diagnosed until 2 weeks before her death." And she was like, "Don't worry about it." IHSS had nothing on me. They had nothing on me. They couldn't do anything because my mom got that diagnosis 2 weeks before her death. And the doctor was like, telling me, I can't believe that a doctor hasn't diagnosed your mom with Alzheimer's yet. And I said, thank you for saying the word, because I told him, you need to say the word. I said, I know what it is. You need to tell me. I remember, January 25th, 2018, or January 24th. It was the 24th. I went down to the Orange Tree Convalescent Hospital. I don't know what it's called now, but at the time it was called Orange Tree Convalescent. And I went down there on the 25th of January and to sign paperwork for her because I was her POA, and the IHSS and the Public Authority did not know I had medical and financial POA over her. And they really thought I was like abusing my mom And they had nothing on me. They had absolutely nothing. And I was begging IHSS for more hours for my mom, and they were like, "No, we did an assessment on her." And I said, "This is Alzheimer's. This is undiagnosed Alzheimer's, and because she didn't have that diagnosis, she did not get the help she needed, and I was gaslit." So, you really, when you're on IHSS, you really, really need, like, you better make sure that you have a POA, and you better make sure that who's ever taking care of you knows about a hospice eval, and you better have people that love you. I don't know who's gonna. Well, I don't have kids, so who's gonna take care of me when I'm like 65 or 70 or any? I don't know. I have no idea. As you get older, you're gonna be starting thinking of that. So, funding, yeah, everything is funding. And that company, like I said last year, they said you do qualify for help, but I hate to tell you this, it was like his father's house or our father's house or something. He's like, we ran out of grant funding and we can't help you because the federal government cut off all our grant funding. That was last year, guys. I called them last year in 2024. So, yeah, they said we had to stop all operations and we would be able to help you because you're a female, not because you're a single mom, just you're a female. So, but that was last year. How in the world did that happen last year? I don't know. I just don't know. So, yeah, I continue to apply to some days 6 jobs a day, sometimes 3 jobs a day. But I do tailor my resume to each job. And I have about 6 different resumes. So I'll have to look at my resume and look at the keywords and say, okay, this resume matches better with this role. And you, I do use Claude and I do use OpenAI, but you got to be careful with them. You got to be really careful with them. Um, I find it's better if I use it for like um, jobs and like cover letters. You don't want to use it as a friend. You don't want to do that um, because it will only tell you what you want to know. That's really loud. I'm noticing that the bass in cars is much more bassy. It's like something happened to cars with the bass. Like just within the last year or two, like the bass is much lower now. I don't know what's going on, but or unless I'm getting really sensitive. I don't know. But my faith is being challenged right now because something happened in the last year to where I'm like, oh, I'll just trust the government. And it's like, no, you can't. You can't. And this, I hate to say it. I hate to say this because the blind faith that Christians have, they just have blind faith in Jesus. Oh God, Jesus. I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. You kind of need to have blind faith. Now, I don't care if your blind faith is in Jesus or the universe or the net or the Akashic records or whatever. But if there's one group of people that have blind faith, it is born again Christians. The lukewarm, born again Christians, they're very lukewarm and they like to feel good, but they like to go, oh, I can't help you. Go to them. A lot of them preach. We like to help people, but when it comes down to it, no, they don't. A lot of them don't. They like to feel good, but they don't like to do good. They just preach, say, "Oh yeah, we help people," but they only pray for you. That's all they do. They just pray for you, but they don't do anything practical. So if you need $50 or $100 or $20 for gas, yeah, sorry. They kind of do, the Christians kind of do what the government does. They don't have practical help. They'll say, go to someone else. We don't have practical help. Just like the Workforce Development Center. My car's in the lip mode as of Thursday, and I went up to Loma Linda through Ritchie Canyon, and it threw my car out, and it's going 20 or 30 miles an hour, like 20 miles an hour. Can't drive it right now. Just can't drive it. It's not safe. It could hurt me. I can get hit from a car behind going 40 or 60 miles an hour with me going 20, even with my hazards on. It's just not safe. And the day before, it was Wednesday, I went out to Hemet. I wanted to know, why isn't the Workforce Development Center answering their phones? Every time I call, they never answer their phones. They did not answer my question. They skirted around the question. I wanted to speak to a supervisor. Somebody else came to talk to me. And I said, why isn't anybody answering the phone? They didn't answer the question. They skirted around. If I want to, when my car's fixed, whenever that is, probably in a few days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hopefully this week it'll be fixed. Hopefully, don't get a Hyundai. I'm telling you, they have transmission problems. Don't do it. Get a Honda or a Toyota. Let's see. Yeah, I went down there. They never answered my question of why they're not answering the phones. And I brought up the whole Workforce Development Center. And she said, well, I hate to tell you, but we're a resource center. And I go, so you don't do job placement. You don't like find jobs for people and then give them to people and say, here's a job. And they said, no. And I said, what do you do? And they said, we're a resource center. And I go, meaning? And they said, well, we hold like job clubs. And I go, well, what is that? And they said, well, we help you with your resume. And I go, I don't really need help with my resume. I mean, I have like 6 different resumes. So, I really don't need help with my resume. So what else do you do? And they said, well, we have about 3 times a year, we have job fairs. And I go, I've been to your job fairs. They don't do interviews on the spot. And sometimes you can go on the website and get flyers about job fairs, and you can get like pictures of who's going to be there. Just go on their website and apply. You don't have to drive down 20 miles one way to, it does not mean you're going to get an interview. I've been going to job fairs since 2011. I never once got an interview at a job fair. Oh, except for that one that was hiring, the store that was hiring in Hemet. And 300 people were there at the Workforce Development Center. But other than that, I've never had an interview on the spot, ever, with anyone at a job fair. It's more like marketing, like brand awareness. Like, look, we sell these pens. Or, look, this is what we do. So I don't know. I don't know why they don't do on the spot job interviews at job fairs. They don't. Swamp cooler. It's blowing. It's blowing dirty air. Not good. Oh, not good. I gotta turn it on because if I don't, it gets 90. What's that noise? What's that noise? I don't know what that was. It gets 83 in here without that swamp cooler on. 83. Without the swamp cooler, it gets 83. And then with it on, it's 79 in the living room. Bedroom has an AC, my AC. I bought it myself. Without the AC, it gets 90 in the bedroom. So I gotta have the AC in the bedroom for me to be sleeping like 73 degrees in there, because during the day it'll get 90 in there. Oh God, that was bad. But yeah, I have to turn this off several times a day because it blows dirt. can't wait to move, guys. Can't wait to move. So let me tell you something else, because the Workforce Development Center, the lady said, yeah, she said herself, yeah, we're a resource center. Unfortunately, they should just remove the word workforce. And I said, why is it that people tell me, have you thought about going to the Workforce Development Center? And I go, they don't help me. They don't do shit. They don't help me find work. They don't do shit. And and the lady said, yeah, we're a resource center. We help you, like, if you need to get on unemployment, we help you with that. We help you, like, find the website. We help you with your resume. We help you with interview skills. Well, that's nice. If I can get an interview, that'd be real nice. I would love to be able to do that. I think this year, I think I had 2 interviews, 2. I don't know how many jobs I've applied this year. I don't know. I have to go in my Excel spreadsheet and look. Let's see. But she said, yeah, I think it's called the Job Something of America. Let me look it up. Let me look it up. Job Something of America. Workforce Development Center is called the Job Something of America. It's called the Job Something. America Job Centers. One-stop career centers. No, that's not. There's something. It's another name. America's Job Center of California. No, there's another. I thought it was like some other name. America Job Centers. They're not job centers, guys. It's a resource center. One-stop career centers. Innovation and Opportunity Act. Department of Labor, Employment and Training Administration. Job training referrals, career counseling, job listings. Yeah. So if you can drive down there, like if you live in Hemet, great. Go in. Let me see. Like something like this. They have these things. Program leaders and substitutes for Think Together is hiring. So you email like your resume here and you can go on their website. But I don't think they put this like on their website or anything like that. Why did my color go out? What happened? My color went out. That was weird. It went black and white for like a minute. Dude, that's crazy. What happened? That was trippy. Oh my God. What was that? That's trippy. And I heard something a minute ago. I heard something. I don't know what it was. But that woman at the Workforce Development Center said to me, she said, yeah, we need the word workforce removed because everybody thinks we do job placement and we don't. Just the other day, I talked to 2 agencies in housing. There was the Fair Housing, I believe it's called Fair Housing Commission. And then the other one was a Housing Authority. There's weird stuff going on with YouTube, man. There's weird stuff going on with YouTube. I don't know what this stuff is, but it's weird. One of them, I don't know which one it was. It was either the Housing Commission or the Fair Housing, whatever. There was Fair Housing and the Housing Authority. Housing Authority. And I got an email from one of them. It was kind of funny. And this is how people think. Government workers do not know what it's really like. So let me find the email. Because I sent them an email. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Not them. Okay, right here. This was from City of Paris. I guess this woman works for the City of Paris in the housing division. And I told them the other day how I didn't really get a lot of help from this particular nonprofit that works with the City of Paris. And it was like a week ago, I emailed them and I told them I didn't really get the help that I needed. And I was told to go to IHSS to become an IHSS worker when that's not my background. My background is like a business analyst, or like process improvement and doing other things. And I was told to go into IHSS. Like, why was I told to go into IHSS? I'm not a caretaker. And this person, like, this person told me that the person that worked there is no longer working there, and they went through like management changes and everything. And I gave him my physical address, all that, and everything. And they replied to me once they looked me up and everything. And this is and I left them a voicemail too, but they said they needed my physical address. Once I gave them that, they got back to me. And this is what they said to me. Let me get the this is what they said. Now, this is the type of thing that a classic government worker is going to assume, and saying something like this sounds like they expect now to be like 1993. Okay. So it's not 1993. If any government worker is watching me for an hour and 7 minutes, congratulations, you got here. But you need to know what it's like when you hit rock bottom and you're going to be looking for resources. People are going to say something like this to you, and then you're going to go, you think that's the way it's like? Okay, let me read the email. Unfortunately, due to previous encounters, CityNet was unable to assist you. You are encouraged to continue to work with your EDD, unemployment caseworker, or reach out to them again, if possible, as this may improve your chances of securing employment and maintaining housing stability. I couldn't believe it. You are encouraged to continue to work with your EDD caseworker or reach out to them again. There is no EDD caseworker, guys. This is something from the 1980s or 1991 or 1993. People think there is an EDD office that you can walk into and hand them a resume and say, this is my last job. I'm an engineer. I'm an electrician. I'm a gynecologist. I'm a whatever, hairdresser, whatever. Here, find me a job. That's what people used to do in the 1980s. It stopped around 1995, 1996. There is no brick and mortar EDD. There is a disability office, I was told, in San Bernardino. I think it says EDD, but it's only like disability. So everything is online. There is no EDD caseworker, okay? There is no like DPSS that gives you gas money for you to get to a job. Now, there could be if you're a single mom on WIC. I don't know if there's anything like that. I have no idea. I'm not on WIC. I'm not a single mom. I have no idea. I do know that back in the day, it was about 20 years ago, 2004, something like that. Um, I knew somebody that was a mom, and she had children, and I guess she had WIC back then or whatever it was called, and she was able to get help with childcare so she can look for work and like go to work. So I don't know who, maybe it was her mom that was watching her grandchildren, so mom can go to work. But um, that was like 2004, and it was like the DPSS had funds to where those funds could pay the babysitter to watch the kids so mom can go to work. I don't know if WIC still does that. I have no idea. I'm not sure because I'm not a mom. So, you know, um, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. So there's no EDD office. You do not get an EDD caseworker. This person was probably thinking of the one-stop shops. There is no caseworker that works with me, helping me find a job, because there's no place that does job placement. There isn't any. There isn't. At least not that I have seen. It's very limited, slim pickings. Yeah, you might be able to go to a workshop for a resume, but you're gonna have to drive down there. If you don't live in the same city, you better have gas money. Or if you don't, you're not gonna be able to get down there. And you might not get the help you need from the resume workshop if you have a very specific background. Do you want to tailor your resume to every job? I think you do. I think you might want to. And of course, these recruiters and everybody else is using AI to draft job descriptions. And half of the stuff in job descriptions, they don't need to be in there. You don't need to write a job description that says 10 years experience in underwater basket weaving, entry level. Entry level jobs do not require 5 or 10 years experience. Entry level jobs require no experience. Employers are wanting to pay people $40,000 a year for someone with 10 years experience in accounting. Somebody with 10 years experience in accounting is probably not going to accept something for $40,000 a year for $20 an hour, not in Southern California, but that's what employers are expecting. And they're writing these boku job descriptions, and there it did it again. It did it again. It took a picture or something. I don't know. And they went like, what was that? What was that? I don't know what it was. I'm gonna have to research that and find out what that was. It's like every minute or something. I don't know what it's doing. That's weird. I wonder if it's taking pictures of me or something. That's really concerning me because of data and privacy. And we're at the point right now with everything with artificial intelligence. We're at the point right now that we can really create really good things for like privacy and data privacy, and like keeping it there to get it did it again. I should time it to see how often that thing happens. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. Um yeah, weird, man, weird. There did it again. Maybe it's like every 15 seconds. Wow. Wow. Um, yeah, it's strange. I don't know what that is. Um, okay. Um, huh. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, stopwatch. I don't know when the last time it did it, but It seems to be every 30 seconds, but there it goes. It just did it. It just did it. It's like every 30 seconds or something. I don't know what it is. But we are at the thresholds right now where we can create really good policy around artificial intelligence and data, like privacy and like ethics. It's a real thing that I think needs to be addressed. There it goes. 32. It is every like 32 minus 6. So it's like every 25 seconds. That is crazy. That is crazy. It's like every 20 or 25 seconds. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to find out what that is. And I'm going to find out why my thing went black and white. Because that green thing, I was trying to make a green screen and it didn't work out because it's not big enough and it's not in the right area and I need to take it down and just remove it. I would need something much much bigger than that. I would need to like cover the whole wall basically. Um so God, that bass is so loud. Jesus. Crazy. So you're not going to know what it's like until you're in those shoes when you need help. And the faith thing, it's crazy because I have to go back to the pulling away of the Christianity. And when I like declared myself an atheist, and I was like, I believe in myself. Like, you kind of have to have blind faith in generator, operator, demonstrator. Like, I think Santos Bonacci is the one. Generator, operator, demonstrator. Who said that? I don't know. I don't know who said that. I think I might maybe Santos Bonacci stole it. Maybe he stole it. But yeah, I don't know who um yeah, I don't know who um where it came from, but I think it was Santos Bonacci that I heard about it and I was like, no way. Um I don't know when was this written? 2024. You know, I was told from a life coach before she died, Diane Donahue. She died in 2022, February 2022. She said, "There's nothing new under the sun. Absolutely nothing new under the sun. It's just labeled and packaged differently, and marketed differently." There it goes again. There it goes. um, so yeah, um, I'm not going to read that blurb. I don't want to bleed. I don't read it. Looks like a Hindu site or something, or I don't know, Hindu, or I'm not going to read the thing because it's just, yeah, it looks like something Hindu or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah. It's, man, this is crazy. You got to believe in something. And Christians believe in blind faith. They're like, oh, yeah, God will take care of it. And it is done unto you as you believe. That's why I'm like looking at all this stuff that I'm doing. Like, that's why I'm pulling away from astrology and tarot and everything. Like, I'm really pulling away from everything. Um, because I don't want to be one of those people like, oh, let's go to another goddess event. Let's go to another new moon event. Let's, you know why people go? Because they want to see other people and like create connections to other people. And I would love to do that. I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to. My car is not working right now. You know, so you gotta have faith in something other than the government. You gotta have faith. You gotta really have faith. because you're not going to know what it's like until you start calling these places that say they help people, and you may not get the help that you need. Um, I do not know personally if you need a house to live in. Like, let's talk Section 8. Section 8 in Riverside County, maybe all of California, is only for disabled people and if you're over 70. If you're not disabled and you're not over 70, you're not going to get in Section 8. There's a voucher program that is different, but the waiting period for that is years. It is years. Some people wait 2 years, some people wait 4 years. And while people are waiting, they go homeless because there's just not enough affordable housing. There's just not enough. If you're single and don't have family for various reasons, like you're a lesbian, you don't have children, or maybe you're a former addict and your family didn't want to do anything with you and you cleaned up your life and you don't have family and you live alone. There's a lot of things. We are a pro-natal nation. People expect you to have a family, and when you don't, yeah, this is a pro-natal nation, guys. It's pro-natal. They expect you as a mom, as a woman, to have children. I don't agree. I think women have more choice than just to have a baby. It's like you gotta have a baby. No, you don't. So yeah, people it really expect today to be like 1993, and right around the time I graduated high school, the EDD was changing. I vaguely remember what it was like in 1997 when I was laid off from the sheet metal job I had. It was the best freaking job I've ever had. Sheet metal. I didn't have to work with customers. I didn't have to answer phones. I didn't have to make people happy and smile. That's why I'm better with systems and finding out like where there's a backlog or where there's issues with like processes and where they can help their system. Like, there's a problem here in this system, then you could better address your customers if you didn't do this and you did this instead. That's a business analyst. And process improvement and like looking at funds and seeing where the funds are going and directing the funds to making sure that those like grant funds are going to the correct channels so the people are served instead of misdirecting the funds on something else. That is a systems level. That's, what I'm better at. Like direct customer service. No, there's certain people in my life that know I'm not really good at that low level, you know, customer service thing. And 1997, guys, I was like 22. That job in production in sheet metal. I worked on the aluminum line. The company was bought out by a company in Japan. I don't know, 2021, 2022. I'm not exactly sure, but I should not have gone to Hyles-Anderson College. I should have not, but I did in 1997 because I was brainwashed at 17 in what? I don't know, 1992, and went off to Indiana for 4 years. Didn't even graduate, guys. I didn't graduate. I was like, no way do I want to graduate from this place. I don't want to be associated with this Baptist, this independent fundamental Baptist stuff, go back and watch my videos. Go back and watch my videos from like 2018 to 2013. I was uploading like, it was ridiculous. I was uploading like 7, 8, 10 videos a week. It was freaking ridiculous. It was like 21 a week, I think, something like that. It was ridiculous. And I had a following. I did. I had a following. But yeah, you got to be careful with AI. It will tell you what you want to hear. You don't want to make it your friend. You want to be strategic when you use it. It does make mistakes. So you need to, like, if you're using it for your resume or for a cover letter, check the syntax. Check it. Check the credibility. I've had to correct Claude before. I was like, wait a minute. No. Mars is in Libra right now. Mars is not in Virgo. Or something like, hey, I hate to tell you, but the election already happened. This is August of 2025. It's not summer of 2024. Please recheck this. And it would say, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It is August 2025. So, I mean, I've had to correct it. So you got to really be on your toes. If you're like, and I seem to like Claude better than OpenAI, but I might have to find a different AI tool. There it goes again. It did it again. I'm going to find out what that little light is. I think it's pictures or something. But let's see. Is there anything? Really? It did it again. Oh my God. I am going to freaking that's insane. I'm gonna research this shit. I don't like that. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. Let's see. I don't know. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. I'm probably gonna write down every time somebody says, "Have you thought about this?" Maybe those people can help you. And I went through so much of that. Last year. It was kind of funny. So everything is funding. And a lot of people think it's still 1993. And I remember going into an office, the EDD office, back in I want to say it was 1996, 1997, but that was like the last time, there was, by the time I got back to California in 2001, there was no physical brick and mortar EDD. That does not exist, guys. And the Workforce Zone happened again. The Workforce Development Center, it's not what you think. Yeah, it's not what you think. See if you can get a list, like if you can call and ask them, hey, you have a job fair coming up? Can you send me the or where do I go to get to your website to see the employers? That way you can apply online to those jobs, and you can look at those employers and just go on their website and see what positions they have open, and then tailor your resume. And then you take a risk. It's at your own risk. Drive to the Workforce Development Center if they have a job fair and see if you can get an interview on the spot. I've never been able to get that. They would just say, oh, here's our website. And I go, no. I already applied. And they go, oh, when? I go, 3-4 days ago. Oh, you already applied? Oh, great. Can I get an interview? Here's my resume. Oh, no, we don't do interviews on the spot. Then why are you here? Why are you here showing me your face if you're a recruiter and you're not doing interviews on the spot? You just want people to apply online? I mean, that is a waste. That is a waste. You got people wanting jobs and wanting interviews, and you are here now representing your company, and you're not going to do interviews on the spot? Why? You can do interviews like 15, 10-minute interviews. 5 people could have applied to the same position at one company. And these people talk to probably 15, 20, 30 people in a day at a career fair. And I've seen it in University of Redlands too. They do not do on the spot interviews. They just say, here's our website, go to our website and apply. Why are you doing that? They just want your data. That's all they want. They just want your data. It's like they're farming resumes just to keep it in their system until whenever. That is wrong. That is unethical. Companies need to be held like accountable for this. It is wrong. So, I think there should be a law. Like if you're gonna go, like if it happened again, stupid light. If companies are gonna go create do a job there, you have to offer on the spot interviews. You have to. That should be a law. You have to have on the spot interviews. If you're posting a job opening, you have to really be hiring for that role. You can't just fake it. I will say this. There is changes going on, and it is good changes. When you apply to jobs, sometimes I would say 90% of the time, you apply to a job, you don't hear nothing back. Guess what? I'm hearing back from employers. Now, it's probably an automated thing. Dear candidate, you've applied for this and we put this on hold, or we went with another candidate. I am getting more of those because last year, silence, crickets. You apply, you don't hear anything back. Or the other one is you interview and you don't hear anything back. So that practice really needs to stop. There it goes again. Oh God. I'm gonna freaking find out what this is. So yeah, it's crazy. That's funding. That's that's what's going on, guys. Everything is funding. Woo! I gotta go. I'm gonna find out what in the world is this thing going on. Take care.